Hello friends, I'm Christopher and I love gardening. Today I'm going to show you how I made this 7-foot tall arched trellis in 2 different sections. This is a really exciting new addition to my garden this year. It came from some Pinterest inspiration, go figure. So I didn't know exactly how I was going to build it. I had some trouble finding the right materials. Originally I wanted to find some really high gauge cattle wire that I could bend over, thinking that that would have good rigidity for holding heavy vegetables, but I couldn't find it, so I made some modifications and I'll show you what I did. First though, I put this one up in the middle of May as kind of a trial to test the materials, see what worked and what didn't, so I can modify it for this larger section behind me here. Here you can see we've got these delicious sugar snap peas that are growing up, and I've got some beans and cucumbers that are coming later on this season. They're really quite fantastic. Anyways, let me show you what it looks like. Well, the materials for this build are pretty straightforward. I got these all at my local big box store. It's a Menards here in Wisconsin. Essentially what I was getting were sections of 5-foot long, 3/4 inch PVC and a series of joints, a T joint and an X joint. All of these are simply cut to length where I thought was appropriate, given the material that I had, and forced together. I didn't use any sort of bonding agent. Eventually, this blue tubing was added to create a little bit of structure for the arch, and of course the wire itself. This is just some 2x3, I think, rabbit fencing. That was the best available for me. It's all held together with a series of zip ties, and I drove these into the ground simply using a hammer. Tools used, also very straightforward. Of course, a tape measure and a pen to measure off the PVC to go between these sections because they're not all perfect. That's human error. A saw, of course you can use a hand saw. I use an electric jigsaw just to cut the various segments, the blue tubing and the PVC itself, and then a hammer with a nice large head at the end of it to pound these into the ground where appropriate. And the final tool that I used was pliers that had a cutting end. Really anything that can cut wire is going to be just fine, so you can cut off the sharp pointy ends of the fencing and of course cut the fencing to its appropriate length. For me it happened to be 84 squares, and I just was very consistent the entire way along. As I was making my cuts, I just knew that would help get the tunnel shape that I was looking for. Well, this is definitely bound to support all the things that I'm growing, all the beans, peas, and cucumbers over here. And as the heavier items like the watermelon, cantaloupe, and different kinds of squash grow on here, I have a very good feeling I'll be able to support it using things like socks and pantyhose and different ties. If there's weight on the top, I know as it pulls down, it kind of provides more structure, kind of like a Roman arch, you know what I mean? The more pressure on top here, the stronger the whole structure gets. That's what I'm hoping happens here. Otherwise, all the fruit that comes on the side, I have a feeling this will support it just fine. Now, in this particular video, it's only been a couple hours since this has been built, and I've woven through some of my existing plants, so they're looking a little worse for wear in this video, but in a couple weeks, they'll probably be up to here, looking green as can be, and shooting up towards the sun. That's how it goes. So have you seen structures like this? Have you built any yourself? I'd really love to hear your suggestions in the comments below if you've done this, or what you think I might need to do later in the season to strengthen this up when I've got some, big melons all around. But this is a super fun project, and it is incredibly easy to do. Odds are you're not going to be doing a 12-foot and a 6-foot section yourself, so this is totally a day project, just a couple hours. Honestly, the hardest part is just the math, finding out how far you can space this using the materials that you have on hand. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you'll comment and subscribe, ring that bell for more notifications, and until next time, happy gardening and happy woodworking. Bye.